Welcome back to this journey of learning about our spectacular microgreens. We learned about the benefits of microgreens. We also learned how to use them in your plates. And now in this episode, we are also going to learn how to grow them right at your home directly from the experts. When we asked the Zuregas if we can educate people on growing the microgreens at home, they were so happy to do it right away.
Absolutely, and we have a starter kit that we can show that with.
Sure, that would be great.
I'm going to show you how to sew one of our microgreen starter kits. First, take out your 2 trays. You're going to have one that has holes and one that doesn't. You're going to have a bag of soil, and according to our directions, you're going to take your soil and pour it directly into the tray. So take it and spread it around really nicely. And you want to pack it down really good, so you just kind of give it a, you can use a brick or a piece of wood or something, or your hand. Anything works as long as it's nice and flat. You're going to take your bottle, just give it a nice water. You want it really good and soaking wet. You want enough water to saturate it. And if you're at home, you can always take this to your kitchen sink or use your water hose if you want it a little bit quicker. Or you can use this, which is just as good. Just give it a nice little water like that. You're going to take your seeds and sprinkle them onto the tray. You can also use some old spice jar that has little holes in it and help spread it out. Just take these. Make sure they're nice and even. It's going to blow your mind when you see how easy it is to grow microgreens. And just put them on like this. Then you're going to take your spray bottle and you're going to spray it again. Give it a good nice spray. Very generous with the water. And you're going to take your top tray here and you're going to put it right on top. And then you're going to put this into a nice dark space that has good ventilation. You're going to leave it for about 4 days. And on day 4, you're going to take it out. You're going to take this tray that has no holes and put it underneath, just like that. And then every day for the next 6 days before you're ready to harvest, you just spray your microgreens every day. And you can also open up the bottom and pour about 4 ounces of water into here, and it'll drink right from the roots. So that easy, and then before you know it, you have microgreens. The first 4 days in germination. So in germination, you'll have it closed like this.
Okay.
And it'll go, you'll just put it up somewhere that has good vents, but you don't want it to get too hot, you don't want it to get too cold, so nowhere like
somewhere in the garage or something.
Yeah, no, garage probably be a bad idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So put it inside the house.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, like if you have a utility room that has a vent,
Okay.
you don't want a vent blowing right at it, but you want some sort of circulation because you don't want it to get too humid or you'll end up with.
Yeah, they like a temperature of about 74. This is the radish microgreen, and that's about a half a tray on what we normally have on our racks like that, so it gives you a visual about how much microgreens you're going to get. On kale, I would say you're going to get about 3 ounces off of it, maybe 4. On radish, you're going to get more closer to 6 to 10, depending on...
Because they're heavier?
Because they're heavier, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We say in our directions on day 11, whatever's left, you harvest, and you can harvest it. And we give directions on how to take care of it. You package it up. You can stick it into the fridge for about a week and eat on it as you please. And then if you don't finish it all, then you can take what's left, take out the paper towels, put it into the freezer, and it lasts for months for smoothies. So microgreens just keep going. Each one will grow its own plant. So if you really think about it, you're eating hundreds and hundreds of plants when you're eating microgreens.
A lot of people say, like, even I've tried growing at home, most likely it ends up white. I don't know why. So like I would definitely appreciate that tip.
Yeah, so one thing that a lot of people think is mold is actually root hairs. So in the beginning of you starting your microgreens, some people will look down for microgreens and think, oh my God, there's mold everywhere. But it's actually root hairs. So if you get in really close and you look at your microgreens and you see that it's connected to the plant, those are actually root hairs because they're on top of the soil. So they're not in, so you're seeing like the root hairs that haven't quite, taken off into the soil yet.
So that's a great tip because I would have dumped several times thinking that was a mold. So how would you differentiate? Like they should not get connected to the plant, right? So
Yeah. So if you see like a web, that's mold. So if you look down and you see a web, you take one of them and you pick it up and the whole web comes up with it, then that's when you know you're dealing with mold. And most of the time you can if there's just one, so if a lot of seeds like sit on top of each other and they're wet and then they're sitting in this hot, humid area, then they could grow mold, right? Because they're on top of each other and they don't have any room to grow. Well, sometimes you can just take that one and pull it out and everything else is fine. So you just have to know what to look for and to look for it every single time it comes out.
So temperature is going to be a factor. Typically when it's cooler, you're not going to have as much mold growth, right? Because there'll be less humidity. So it is important to control the humidity and the air temperature wherever you're growing. So like we were saying, while it's in germination, you want to make sure it's in a well-ventilated area, but it's dark, so that it thinks it's underneath the soil. And then when you bring it out, you still want it in a well-ventilated area, not a vent blowing right at it, because that'll stress the plants, but still a well-ventilated area just so that there's airflow so that the humidity doesn't build up inside, because the plants create a canopy, and so underneath that canopy is going to get very humid. So good airflow is really important.
Thanks to Krista and April for demonstrating and giving a lot of tips for growing microgreens. And that was an effective conversation with the Zunigas. And here are the key takeaways for our today's episode. For growing microgreens at home, all we need is to trace dirt, seeds, and spray bottle. Maintain a humidity and temperature at 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Root hairs can be sometimes mistaken for fungal growth. Web-like appearance would differentiate the root hairs from the actual fungal growth and limit the fungus or the mold by even sowing of seeds, giving a good ventilation, and watering the tray beneath. Thanks to the Zunigas for being such an inspiration. Bless the hearts of those people who wanted to make a difference in the community. Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food.